I felt the very advanced ones won all the awards. Some of the more simpler concepts, although very effective, whereas whoa, you're a professional. Yeah. But I'm very proud of everyone and what they did. It's very impressive. Even the engine, the upperclassmen did amazing.
Literally, something was with the thermostat, and I think I turned it down.
I'm programming a thermostat for my project.
Caitlin, that sounded like you volunteering.
Yeah. Thermostat expert over here. I actually did, actually.
Thank you.
What'd you use?
Bless you. Thank you. Sorry. Just mid-sip before I could say bless you.
It's like 10 degrees above room temperature.
Yeah, what do you want me to turn it down to?
Drinking water?
65.
Oh, water not.
Caleb, how low can it go?
What's the thermostat?
It was at 75.
What?
Alright, I just switched down to 65, so that hopefully that should cool things down.
It already feels much better.
Also 5 hours from now.
Maybe it's placebo.
I think it's definitely placebo.
The placebo effect is happening.
It was a potentiometer.
It was a genre.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. My buddy next to me works at LED. It's a voltage divider.
Oh, yeah. This isn't just a percentage. Maybe we stop putting D&D in here. Oh, I'm monitoring.
The best part of the year.
Yeah, it's how's your day going?
It's going all right. How about you, David?
Doing good. Worse?
Yeah, we're doing a lab report for about 3 hours today, so
I'm so sorry.
it's all good.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just hate
What
so
are you
much
doing?
better.
I'm waving my hand so I can see with the 5-second delay.
Yeah, so-
Oh my god.
I can see myself.
Is that the handsome man that was on the screen?
That was a real cutie. I'm gonna make $10 billion
Have you ever seen something such a spooky?
No, that was immediate version.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know if you were gonna be here today.
Oh my gosh. What's wrong? How's your day going?
Pretty good. I went to the beach this weekend and got absolutely Christmasified. So
Are you also Irish?
I'm not Irish, but I also am stupid and didn't wear sunscreen because it was cloudy. And
No, you still can get
yep,
burned.
yes, you can.
You should wear sunscreen.
I was in Westbrook, Connecticut. One of my friends just had like a little like. Yeah,
That's shoreline, probably.
Connecticut does have
it's
a
like-
coast.
It does? Wait, hold on.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
it's on the
Gwen.
coast.
For the love of God, pull
Gwen.
up a map of the United
I'm
States
doing that.
and then
It's
point out
literally like
Connecticut.
it's like there's a beach in Massachusetts.
You're so right.
Connecticut has actually a very large coastline,
Yeah.
Where it was.
at least compared to states like Idaho.
Don't you live in Connecticut?
No, I live here.
Wait, where do you live?
Pittsfield.
Why did you know that so fast?
Where's
I don't know, because you said it.
Wait, where's Pittsfield?
Pittsfield's like
Is that Mass?
it's like
It's in the hiking skiing area.
Oh, hey, Autumn.
I don't do either, so I'm bored all the time.
No, Connecticut is like on the coast. It's not like a little corner of it, like the
yeah,
entire
and it's
eastern.
also like directly below Massachusetts, which also has a coastline. So
Yeah, no, like the entire eastern part of Connecticut is kind of.
This is also 3 hours of sleep in my brain and Gwen.
No, that's fair. You know, anytime you go to the beach, you wear sunblock.
yeah, no, I actually it would have been fine, but I fell asleep.
Oh.
So
I was saying, not even for like.
yeah, like
sunburn.
it's actually like crazy. Like right here, it's crazy.
Need to order roll call. Senator Baker,
Here.
Senator Bissonnette. Here. Senator Bronson.
Here.
Senator Brown. Senator Cloutier.
Here. Senator Conlon,
Here.
Senator Day. Here. Senator Garcia.
Here.
Senator Godek.
Here.
Senator Gilmartin.
Present.
Senator Hastings.
Present.
Senator Powers.
Present.
Senator Scorpa.
Here.
Senator Shaw. Chairperson Amaya.
Here.
Chairperson Boyer.
Here.
Chairperson Hunt.
Present.
Chairperson Pearl.
Present.
Vice President Coughlin.
Present.
Vice President Fairwell.
Hi, everybody. So as you can see, everyone has their laptops out. So we are allowing technology during this meeting for the sole purpose of viewing budgets, the policies, and things that we're going to be going over today, because that'd just be a lot to be going back and forth to the laptop at front to portray on the TV. So feel free to get your laptop out and put it on the Kodiak. Just about everything's on there for this meeting. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. We'll keep your audio on. Now for the minutes, I move to accept the minutes from the 4/23 meeting.
Second.
Second.
Are there any revisions, additions, or deletions? Let's move to a voice vote. Are we all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Minutes accepted. Now into new and existing business. We have a big long section today. So going first into the professional activities funding policy. I motion to accept SS Year 1.
Second.
So I'll allocate 10 minutes to this discussion. So this policy, you can pull it up on the Kodiak. It's a Student Senate Professional. Student Senate Professional. For programming policy. So this policy establishes permanent funding for the Office of Student Involvement and Connections through the student activities revenue. This is to ensure efficient operation and the provision of professional programming to the student body and Western New England University campus community. So.
Yeah, so basically, this policy ensures that the Office of Student Involvement and Connection gets needed funding for events and activities that happen on campus that need to happen on campus. And essentially, if this wasn't to pass and they don't get that funding, as I said in the email I sent out, they wouldn't be able to do their jobs. And along with this, some of the things that it will be funding and it will be supporting are things that they will be taking on, like, for example, Homecoming and Family and Friends Weekend, which is something that CAB and, well, that's something that CAB said that they didn't want to do anymore. So the Office of Student Involvement and Connections will be taking on that responsibility. I sent out on the Kodiak an overview of planned expenditures for this policy. This was sent to us from Director Grimm. So basically just going over it line by line. The first big thing for it is transition / the amazing experiences, which is a substantial portion of this budget. Using the numbers that she gave us just as an example, it would be $55,000 would be allocated to the transitions and amazing experiences. And then last year, despite an expenditure of $37,000, events were hampered by cancellations and limited capacity, accommodations only a fraction of our projected student body. And then obviously, like, the admissions goals set for 950 incoming students. So with that amount of money from last year, that would only accommodate for 0.5% of the first year class. So with the anticipated increase in enrollment, it's imperative to secure that funding and actually secure these events from actually happening compared to last year. Again, as I said, Homecoming and Family and Friends Weekend, historically managed by CAB, moving to that office so they could take care of it, so it's professionally programmed. These activities are, tailored for the student body, but it's also for alumni, family, and friends too. So it makes the most sense, especially if CAP didn't want to do them anymore, to have this office take that on and continue to work with students and make sure that those events are successful. The Golden Hours Reimagined part of it is enhancing campus center programming and collaborating with student clubs sponsored and hosted events on Fridays and Saturdays. Again, that's like another thing where we're trying to push for more events to happen on the weekends, and that's another policy that's going to like help push that to happen. Some clarification on that too is that the money for that part of the policy, basically it said that it's providing clubs with $500 to organize activities. That's not like an allocation per se. When it comes to allocating money to clubs and organizations, that's still our job. Ultimately, that's just to help enhance and provide better experiences on campus that tailor towards a wider community and a wide body of students. So ultimately, that's another thing that's going to help our community and help enhance events going on all throughout the year. And then miscellaneous events, and those are like the other events that the office does, such as the student involvement expos, orientation programs, other campus center initiatives. So all those are definitely things that are needed. They help our clubs and organizations as much as it helps the office, which is why this policy is a needed policy. Yeah.
And for the initial funding of this, it will be coming from the Student Senate Reserve account as a pilot year, and then it will change from then on. Is there any questions? I'll open the floor.
Just to back off of what Vice President Kaufman said, although I unfortunately don't have the voting right, if I did, I would vote yes on this policy. I think there are a lot of important reasons why this needs to happen. I know one example I was coming back to is that granted our current Senate, for example, like you mentioned with PA in the first week in transitions program, and the experiences. Obviously, all of us here in support of that, but down the line, if there was a Senate that for some reason wasn't, that would take away opening weekend in its entirety, which like physically cannot happen because we have to do that for first year students. So this is kind of just guaranteeing that like the things that need to happen will happen regardless of how Senate looks years down the road from now. And also, I just want to thank the Office of Student Involvement for their collaboration on this as well. I think having programming in that office done more frequently and with their expertise and guidance is going to immensely help the quality and, you know, just the overall turnout of events that we do see on campus. So again, although I don't have a voting right, this policy does have my full support.
Any other questions?
Has anyone done the math on like the actual dollar amount that it'll be?
We can't because we don't know the exact number of student activity revenue. Like we don't know how much
Right,
that
because
is
it
going
depends
to
on,
be.
okay.
So the numbers that I posted in the Kodiak memo were numbers given to us from Director Grimm, which were based off of a number of $140,000, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. So assuming like, so that would assume that the activity fee was $720,000, so it would be about that amount.
Okay.
And just, you know, to provide some more reassurance as well. This is in no means like Student Senate losing control over money. Again, as Vice President Kaufman mentioned, we always fund first weekend transitions. Typically CAB, we fund for homecoming and that type of stuff. So like the events are still being funded by Student Senate. It just has more professional oversight and development than in years past.
It says under the policy section that 20% of the yearly student activities fee revenue will be going to this. Is that shifting money from one place to another, or are we gonna have to increase the student activities fee to correspond with that? Okay, thank you.
Will CAB's budget like decrease due to the lack of like events that they're funding, or will that stay the same?
We will get to that in a little bit on the agenda.
For the conversation naturally expiring, let's move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Bearville.
Yes.
15-0-0.
So 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes.
Little something new that we're gonna try and do from here on out. We printed out a little fancy version of the policy and we had President Barrett Miller actually sign it. Just goes along with other things that other student governments and actual governments do, so.
And all of these things will be posted on the bulletin board so anyone can see them anytime, and all the things that we do. So, now, let's go to the Business Analytics Club recognition. I'll hand the floor to you.
Is a representative from the Business Analytics Club here? Please raise your hand if you are.
So with no representative present, we will not proceed with that recognition today. We'll move that to another meeting. The Chess Club recognition.
Is anyone here a representative from the chess club? Great, okay. So at this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate recognizes and accepts the chess club constitution.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I'll keep 5 minutes.
So, yep, the chess club has been waiting there for a bit now. I'm excited to see the creation of the club. I've seen that they've already started meeting, and so far they've had successful club meetings. Yeah, I'd like to hand the floor off to the representative. If you could tell us a little bit more about your club.
Yeah, so we have around 10 to 12 members actively. That's just kind of the first couple meetings. We had our last meeting yesterday, and so far it's been doing great. We're looking to buy more equipment and hopefully eventually grow the club to where we enter in tournaments and stuff like that. So kind of gotta get it started somehow. So.
Are there any questions about the chess? Let's move to a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Chess Club is recognized. And now we'll move to their starter allocations.
At this time, I make the recommendation that the chess club be activated with a starter allocation of $250.
So moved. Second.
Let's move to a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Congratulations. Now to the club sport amendment. At this time, I motion to amend the club sport policy.
Second. Second.
I'll take 5 minutes.
All right, so the club sport amendment basically is changing our current definition of a club sport so that they're not locked into intercollegiate competition and more so that they're rather just competitive in nature. What this does is open up the club sport eligibility pool to clubs such as cheer and dance. And basically what that would do too is enable them to get funding to travel. And like cheer would be able to go to like sports games and stuff like that, and same thing with dance. So doing that just makes it more open and also just allows us to have a broader definition of what we consider a club sport. We talked about this, myself, President Barrett Miller, and Chairperson Peralt, and the club sport pool would be able to sustain this. If you didn't read through the whole club sport document and the comparison between the amendments and what it looks like now, basically each year, 6% of the student activities revenue is set aside specifically just for club sports. And this money pools year on year. So because of that, doing the math out and adding those 2 clubs to this pool, we thought it would be sustained. And this is a sustainable change that can happen. Along with this, if club sports are involved in intercollegiate competition, they are required to have dues. So that was another change that was put in there that specifies that if they do that, dues are required. If they don't, dues are not. That is it for the changes.
Are there any questions about the amendment?
I just noticed with wording, especially if like with a team, like if like just with the budget proposal, what if they have like besides having a men's and women's team, what if they have the co-ed one? What would essentially happen there is I guess my question. So that's a gray area in there.
It would be one budget.
Okay.
It's co-ed.
With the conversation naturally expiring, let's move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day. Yes. Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Goda,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers, oh, yes, sorry. Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Fairmiller.
Yes.
15-0-0.
The 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes. Next is the cheerleading club constitution updates. I'll allocate 5 minutes to this discussion.
At this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate recognizes and accepts the cheerleading club constitution updates.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so some of the updates, were just establishing the cheerleading club as a club sport, no longer just a regular club. Changing the names of their e-board positions to captains, since that's what they already use during their practices. So yeah, I'd like to pass it on to the representative of cheerleading club to further explain their changes.
Hi guys. I'm the treasurer of the cheerleading team from this past year, and I will be again next year. So yeah, basically everything we did. If you're confused by the fact that we're changing the thing to the club sport, if you look further down in the club sport budget, you'll see that we're applying for a little increase. So this goes with that. Yeah, we just changed the language to fit like for club sport. And I can give more of an explanation on why we want to be a club sport when we actually do our budget. But yeah, just like basically changing everything around to be what we already follow at practice. Nothing completely out of the blue. Just everything that we already follow at practices in terms of like referring to our team.
Are there any questions?
I just want to make a point of clarification because I know obviously we just passed the new club sport policy. Now there's already a club applying for one. Obviously, as you know, with today's meeting being focused around budgets, when I began working on like my thought process for allocations for next year, this was an idea I had in mind, not specifically for cheer. So I reached out to cheer, dance, ski and snowboard has been in the works as well. Bowling bears, like kind of all of those like clubs that could be considered in that athletic pool. Cheer is the only one as of now that is finalized, dance is in the works, and then the others still need some fleshing through.
This conversation naturally expiring, let's move to a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Now we're gonna move into all the budgets. So we're gonna start off with the level.
So I'm gonna be passing this around, just take one, pass it down. This is just kind of like a budget summary, if you will, today, just highlighting like key data points and figures that you might want for reference. So also you can just take one, pass it down. If there aren't enough copies, I ask, just please share with someone next to you. And while that's going around, obviously we are on a time crunch today with the meeting ending at 1:50, so we're gonna try to power through and get as many of these done as we can. If not, we are going to be scheduling a special meeting, probably a couple weeks after finals end, just so that way no one is stressed out with finals. So the rest of these will get added to that, as well as our A, Bs, and Cs, and anything else that might come up that is meaningful to people for next year. And looking at this, you will notice that, as per typical, the finance chair, we really honed in this year to try to crack down on insufficient spending while also still allowing the most important people to their typical events. And all of those different cuts and stuff like that, and my justifications will be explained as we proceed through each budget.
And guys, just so you're aware, you will be sharing them between partners. So if there's not enough, please shut them down.
School share. There's actually right there.
Yeah, I have.
There's an extra one right.
There's actually.
And then also just, in the interest of time, when I make the recommendation, I will explain the difference and kind of summarize the hearing. If anyone has questions, you can address them to myself or the representatives that are present, and also if the representatives would like a chance to speak there, more than welcome to do so. And also, as per usual, again, with, cutting insufficient spending, additional allocations going forward are always something that Student Senate is willing to work with clubs and organizations on. It is just best practice to cut down on insufficient spending first, and then if clubs do need additional spending, we ask that they just come back when they reach that point. So with that being said, we can go ahead and get started with our first level D budget for today. So at this time, I make the recommendation that the campus activity board receive a level D allocation of $75,420. So moved.
Second. I'll allocate 5 minutes.
Okay. And just to clarify, this is a fall-only allocation for CAB. Typically, we do their fall now, and then we'll do their spring. Typically, our last meeting before winter break, so beginning of December. So the difference between my recommendation and the requested amounts, the first being the $7,000 for their NACA conference. An objective of mine as finance chair for this term is to update our conference funding, because I personally feel as if it bars a lot of students from being able to attend conferences. So when I met with CAB, I basically told them I'm going to make that over the summer. We'll pass it at the start of the fall, and then allocate them the appropriate funds for the conference. Additionally, we also have amounts in their incidentals column. So instead, we have $2,000 for the retreat, $500 for the training, $2,000 for retention, and $500 for office supplies. This was something that myself, Vice President Kaufman, President Barrett Miller, and the Office of Student Involvement agreed is fair. Honestly, those numbers seem a little bit high, so again, we'd rather err on the side of caution and have them come back if needed. And then also, there was an original $10,000 buffer, and we thought that $2,000 was much more reasonable. CAB is one of those organizations that does require a buffer, especially more so than other clubs, just given the scale of their events day of. So that is that first section. And then moving down, as mentioned before, student involvement is now taking on homecoming and family and friends weekend. So completely take out that from the budget. But we are giving them $4,000, and that was the hope of two $2,000 events. Obviously, student involvement is going to be in charge of more like logistical elements for this day. But we personally thought it would be nice if CAB could still have some involvement, again, just with a little bit more professional help. So we wanted to be able to fund them to have a presence there. Casino Gala, which is a typical event, nothing changed there. Same thing with therapy dogs. Fall Crawl, the recommendation for that event was $11,000. Again, thought the original amount was too high and that the event could be done in that amount. And again, if more funds are needed for that event, that can be addressed in the fall. Same thing with stress relief. The original ask was 12, so we moved that down to 10. And we thought that that event could also get done at a cheaper cost. We also removed the $8,000 ask for their partnerships. This is a theme you'll sense a lot throughout the budget, and for those treasurers who met with me yesterday, I already began explaining this. An example of one is for Fall Crawl. Since that is a CAB event, we would rather give CAB that money than like spread it out throughout other clubs and orgs and then have it come back to the same place anyway. Obviously, we still want those clubs to participate in that event if CAB chooses to do so. That will just be more of like day of hands-on, or like if they want to have a table to get their club out there, stuff like that. And then the last two things, they had estimated $5,000 for 3 travel events. I personally thought that was a very fair ask. And then for their other chair on-campus events, we cut that amount in half, so it's now 4 $4,500 events. Again, with that 9,000 seemed too high, and would prefer to err on the side of caution. And overall, there's a lot of details that need to be fledged out with the CAB executive board. Relating to like their general membership and events that they want to do. So I think this is a good starting point, and once those details get fledged out later, we can always come back to this. That is all I have to say.
Are there any questions about? The conversation naturally expiring, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Abstain.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Abstain.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Abstain.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barragán.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no, 3 abstentions.
With 12 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 3 abstentions, motion passes.
Next up, moving into CARE. At this time, I make the recommendation that CARE receive a level D allocation of $3,000.
So moved.
Second.
We'll allocate by most discussion.
Thankfully, this one is simple. So typically throughout the past couple of years, CARE has asked for $3,200. It is what they requested again this year. So fair ask for them. The difference between my recommendation and their ask of $200, from their previous year, they had about $456 unspent. A little bit of that will be spent, given that there's still a week left in the semester. But I figured since there was just a little money left unspent, cutting them by $200 would kind of eliminate that same problem from happening again next year. And I feel like also the events that CARE does are really good for our campus community. I think their outreach with different organizations, hospitals, pantries, all of that stuff is really important work, and I would like to see that continue going forward. But yeah, other than that, I have no other comments.
Are there any questions for CARE? With the conversation naturally expiring, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
In the back.
okay,
Bathroom break.
Senator Day.
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw, Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barragán.
Yes.
14-0.
With 14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes.
Moving on to GBTV. At this time, I make the recommendation that GBTV receive a level D allocation of $7,996.75.
So moved.
Second. I'll get Clemens to discussion.
All right. So the difference between my recommended and the requested was about $4,200. And so jumping into some of the items that make up that difference. The first being cutting the $250 for audio use. It was not used last year. So the thought was if it does end up needing to happen this year, again, come back. Next, moving into GBTV, Golden Bears Got Talent. There was $500 unspent from this event last year, so the recommended amount for that particular event was $4,500. Next, we decided to cut the $3,500 from the Bold Media Collab. And again, this is instead giving that money, in this time particular, to WNEK for their sponsorship in KMF. Next, we recommend, $2,000 for Bold Media Festival. Last year, only $1,500 was spent. However, their treasurer did make a strong case as to why and how they are going to spend more for Bold Media Festival next year. And then we also recommended $100 for office supplies because last year only $84 was spent. And then finally, for their shirts, we recommended the amount of $250. There were none bought last year, so we figured $250 is a fair amount for this year. And again, if they do more, they're more than welcome to come back and ask for more.
Are there any questions about this? The conversation actually expired, we'll do a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Brownson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gil Martin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Fairclough.
Yes.
14-0-0.
So 14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes.
Moving right along to the Golden Bear Band. At this time, I make the recommendation that the Golden Bear Band receive a level D allocation of $5,160.
So moved.
Second.
I'll take 5 minutes of discussion.
Okay, so getting into some of the line items that account for the difference in my recommendation and their request. First being, we recommended 300 both for their fall and for their spring concert. Last year, 250 was spent for both. So we thought that the original ask of 350 was too high, so we cut that down. Next, we recommended 150 for repairs. Last year, only about $80 was accounted for in repairs, so we thought the ask of 300 was also on the side of too high. Next, we cut the cost for the computer under our recommendation of working with OIT. I know this is an issue other clubs have had as well, including Senate in the past for our computer in our office. For lack of better words, just kind of like died on us and didn't work. But I know that if you work with OIT and tell them that you have a computer in their office, like they can come and fix it and provide you with like new equipment. So we figured using the student activities for that was an insufficient spending area. And I'm also more than happy to work with Golden Bear Band and OIT collaboratively if they are having failure in reaching OIT, because I know that is also an issue sometimes. Next, we recommended removing the amount for the folder cabinet. I was hoping that facilities or someone else on campus might have a like filing cabinet or something like that, because I feel like there could be some lying around. So I figured we could start there first, and then if not, again, we can come and revisit this as needed. And then also I recommended the amount of $100 for folders. I know they were looking to purchase a little bit nicer folders, but it was 24 folders, 75 folders at 24 pop, and I figured like, I think it came out to around $1,800 or $1,900 for folders. And I just thought that was rather expensive for folders. So that is everything.
Are there any questions about this? Let the conversation naturally expire, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day.
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Coffin,
Yes.
and President Bearmiller. Yes.
With 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes.
Moving on to GSA, at this time, I make the recommendation that GSA receive a level B allocation of $7,565.
So moved.
Second.
And I'll allocate 3 minutes.
So, for those who may or may not recall, as indicated in one of the columns, last year GSA received an allocation of $2,190.40, and that is simply due to the fact that they were inactive for a semester. Typically in the past, GSA has always been one of our level D clubs and orgs receiving allocation that is typical to the one recommended here. I'm also happy to share that now that they are back, their membership has rapidly increased and is on track, if not almost exactly where it was before they went inactive. So I'm very happy to report that. I was very impressed with the both audit and budget hearing I had with their treasurer. They were very enthused about, continuing traditional GSA events while also wanting to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit and bring on some new events that I think would be really cool for that club to kind of get more outreach on campus. And the treasurer also informed me that he even went above and beyond to work with former executive boards to kind of get an understanding of what their events were like, how their past budgets were run. So I appreciate all of the attention to detail there. And all in all, I just think that GSA is a very important club, and I think the events that they do and the work that they do to, promote awareness and provide resources on campus is very important.
Are there any questions about the GSA budget application? The conversation naturally expire, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Coffin,
Yes.
and President Bearmiller.
Yes.
15-0.
With 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstentions, motion passes.
Before we move on, I do want to make a quick note for treasurers who have already gone. If you have someone else to be, you are free to excuse yourself, but if you would like to stay for the rest of the meeting, you are also more than welcome to do so. My apologies for not mentioning that at the start.
I was just gonna say that.
Okay. All right, moving on to our investment club. At this time, I make the recommendation that the investment club receive a level D allocation of $3,000.
So moved.
Second.
Allocate 5 minutes.
So the investment club has applied for a level increase to level D. So last year they were bumped up to a level B club and organization, so they received $1,000 for that. Additionally, they also had to ask for a $2,700 additional allocation, so that amount already exceeds the $3,000 that they're asking for. And kind of just getting into my justification of why I think they are deserving of level D. Ever since I've been a student here, and especially Senate my freshman year, it's always been a club of hot topic. They've had rapidly growing membership over the past couple of years, not just within the College of Business, which I also think is really interesting, that they're able to recruit members from our other colleges on campus. Something important to note also is last year, the subscriptions that Senate funded for them, they were purchased around the Black Friday timeframe, so they were all discounted. That's no longer the case this year. And again, given the high number of members and no discount for the subscriptions, they need to pay for the subscriptions in order to run their club how they can now. Also, as we passed through Senate last time, they do a partnership with the Accounting Association to New York City. I think having, again, clubs collaborate is a good idea. Like I've also mentioned, I think this club has really become almost a staple. It's one of our like top College of Business clubs. I know like accepted students day and like open houses and all that. It's a typical club that garners a lot of interest from prospective College of Business students. And one fun fact I'd like to share is the budget that you're all looking at for them was actually created through a course that Senate paid for last year through I think it was the Wall Street Journal. So if you go to their proposal tab, you can see there's like if you click on like the level C, there's a little drop down arrow, and when you click that, the entire budget updates for their level D request. That's all I have.
It's really cool. You should definitely check it out. Are there any questions about the investment club allocation and level increase? Is the conversation naturally expiring? We'll do a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Abstain.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Fairclough.
Yes.
14-0-1.
With 14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 1 abstention, motion passes. Congratulations to our newest level D club.
All right. Moving on to the Westerner. At this time, I make the recommendation that the Westerner receive a level D allocation of $12,910.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. 3 minutes discussion.
Right. And once again, just getting into the differences between their requests and my recommendation. The amount for their newspaper and their delivery, my recommendation is $7,800. We wanted to build in like a $200 buffer. It's possible that over the summer costs to produce the newspaper or costs to deliver the newspaper, stuff like that rises. So we wanted to build in a little incidental there, which was also the thought of the treasurer. I personally believe that the ask of $8,500 was a little high. Just in case this doesn't end up happening, $200 is a lot more feasible to move towards a different event than almost $1,000. So that's the first thing. Second being the removal of the ask for fall call. Again, like I mentioned earlier, having all of that money go towards CAP for the event, but still having the Westerner and other clubs present at those events count. Additionally, recommended $250 for both their spring program and their fall program. Typically, like journalists and guest speakers like that don't cost money to bring in, so I figured $250 would be a good, fair estimate if they wanted to get like food, refreshments, maybe like decorations or whatever need fit for those fall and spring events. And then additionally, recommended $1,300 for the Bold Media. Just given that $200 was unspent last year, so it's just accounting for the difference in the unspent amount. And then finally, removing the $1,500 for MEF. Again, that money is being given to WNEK to pay for like artists, stage, like all that type of stuff. And again, still wanting the Westerner and other clubs to be present there. And then just a positive note, something cool I learned during my hearing yesterday with the treasurer is that they're actually expanding outreach of the Western campus in terms of where you can do it. I don't quote me on the exact res halls, but I know that was a thought. All right, do you want to?
Yeah, I have the list right here actually. They're going to be adding 6 new stands, some in the quad, some in Commonwealth, 1 in the renovated Rivers, and 1 in Wyndham.
I personally think that is a fantastic idea. I know anytime I'm walking around campus and I see one, like there's like a headline that's intriguing to me, I always pick it up and look at it. So I think especially for first years, having that in places where they are alive has kind of gotten to get them, accommodated to campus a little bit more, and honestly also like spark their interest in wanting to get involved with whatever that article might be about. So I just thought that was really cool and wanted to share.
Are there any questions about the Western? That is really cool about the new stands. Let's move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Fairmiller.
Yes.
15-0.
With 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstentions, motion passes.
Now we move on to UNE. At this time, I make the recommendation that UNE receive a level D allocation of $36,140.
Second.
Okay, that is discussion.
Alright, so this one is fairly simple in explaining the difference between their ask and my recommendation. Simply put, they collect $3,860 in revenue, whether that be like dues, fundraising, that type of stuff. And with the $40,000 of expenses minus that revenue, that gets us to my recommendation of $36,140. When I did United and Mutually Equals budget last year, that was the same way I recommended them as well. Reason being, kind of getting into a little bit more of like line by line details. Of that amount last year, they only had $340 unspent, which is phenomenal given how much they were given to work with. So I commend your group for efficiently spending. In terms of why this budget is, I think it's about $1,600 more expensive than last year. Obviously, given the food that they're bringing in for their different special events, it is not cheap and typically rises from year to year. So that explains the difference between that. Additionally, their treasurer shared with me that they are looking as well to kind of keep the staple UNE events while also coming up with new ways to increase membership and just honing on retention even more. I've been to a couple of their events, and from what I've observed, they're always popular. And again, giving them more money for food is going to ensure that, because I know an issue in the past has been running out of food because of how many people are there. So hopefully that's going to be able to dwindle that burden on you guys a little bit. And yeah, similarly with this club, I just think that the work that they do on campus is very important in spreading like what WNE's Office of Inclusive Excellence is all about. And I think by, having them be able to have more items for their events and also hosting more events, it's just all like going to get that not only the office out there more, but I think also the work of the club is just going to continue to increase as it has been year to year.
Any questions about the UNE budget? The compensation naturally expiring with the roll call.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Fairmiller.
Yes.
14-0-0.
14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes.
Moving on to Warp Gaming. At this time, I make the recommendation that Warp Gaming receive a level D allocation of $13,852.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. Not too much to say with this one. Just honestly a couple cuts for specific line items and events just to make things a little bit cheaper, while at the same time not taking away from the fun events that Chairperson Hunt has worked hard on the past couple of years. So first being both the fall and spring nerd day, my recommendation was $950 for food. I thought 1,000 was just a little much, and given how spending went last year, I thought bringing that down to $950 was fair. Additionally, for the large raffle prices, I figured $400 for both fall and spring was more fair. And then for the fall Mario Party, again, similarly with food, the recommended amount was $650. And then for the shirt amount, we recommended $1,250, under the assumption that if they can prove that they have, X amount of people who are interested in attending this event or going to be at this event, we're more than happy to work with them on getting an adequate number of shirts. We just wouldn't want to we wouldn't want to order more shirts than will be at the event. And then last thing, again, similarly with the Mario Kart event, I'm recommending $500 for food and $250 for supplies. So in summary, all of the events are great. So there's no needing to cut those events. It was just a couple little line items in each event where we figured we could save some spending while again still being able to have the event that board is hoping to.
Any questions about Warp's budget? When the conversation actually expired, we'll move to a roll call.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barrett.
Yes.
14-0-0.
14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention. Motion passes.
All right, moving on to WNEK. At this time, I make the recommendation that WNEK receive a level D allocation of $7,947.50.
So moved. Second.
Once again, pretty similar, in a quick one, similar to like the work one we just did in other ones, just finding some line items that could be reduced or eliminated. So the first one was the $750 for Sound Exchange, that was not used this past year, and again, similar to the subscription for GBTV. If this is something that WNK is interested in pursuing definitively in the future, we are happy to work with them in funding that. Also, so we lowered the amount for the hotspot, given that it wasn't used last year. Although nothing was spent on it last year, I do think keeping this on there is important because if WNK ever finds themselves in a situation where they don't have Wi-Fi, they need a way to stream their music and do what they do. So I think leaving that on there is imperative. Also, we just less 20 from the international fees. Again, nothing was used from there, but just in case that needs to be on there. And then also we have equipment for 250 and maintenance for 150. These amounts were adjusted based on how much was spent last year, while again still leaving plenty of funding for this. Same thing with marketing, $25. And then for their Kodiak Music Festival, obviously is the staple event of WNEK in addition to their mobile DJing and other events. The recommended amount for this tentatively was $7,000, and this does include taking the contributions from the other Bold Media clubs, both for the bands and for the stages. The explanation for this amount is based on prior year spending. Granted, this year could come in a little more expensive. So once we get into, kind of winter when we start planning for KMF, if WNEK finds themselves in a situation where it looks like they're going to need more money for KMF, I do ask that they come back because we would be more than happy to work with them. And then also we took out the $500 for the Bold Media collab event. Again, similarly, have getting all the money for Fall Call, other clubs not contributing monetarily, but still contributing in terms of help and presence day of. And then the final change was recommending $50 for their fall program, just a little bit less, but also again based on last year's spending, also having enough money for like food, decorations, any type of stuff like that.
Are there any questions about WNEK's budget? Seeing none, let's move to the roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barrett Miller.
Yes.
14-0-0.
14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes. And now we'll move into the club sport budgets.
Right. Okay. First off, beginning with the cheerleading team. At this time, I make the recommendation that the cheerleading team receive a club sport allocation of $11,000. Oh my God, my brain, I'm sorry. $11,350.
So moved.
Second. All right, allocate 3 minutes to this discussion.
I apologize. I've been looking at these numbers so much over the past couple of days. Okay, so now that we're into club sports, we're starting with cheerleading. Next, we're gonna have rugby, ultimate frisbee, volleyball. All of these are generally pretty similar, as they are every year. So for cheerleading, obviously, we just passed their constitution update to move them into a club sport. I think one of my favorite takeaways from this one is having the cheer team at away games. I personally think that's going to be a huge win for our university and kind of getting our name out there even more. So that is an initiative I'm very happy to support. A couple other things, although they were not a club sport before, they were still fundraising, and they have proven that they have had very successful fundraisers, and obviously a qualification of being a club sport is fundraising twice a semester. Additionally, they, for their first year's club sport, decided to recommend $1,500 for the coach stipend rather than $3,000, and I think that is a very modest and fair ask of them, given that this is their first year. And then in terms of like equipment and stuff like that, I think one of the most important things I noted were the mats. When I had the hearing with their treasurer, they informed me that right now they only have 2 mats and you need a full set of 7 in order for like safe cheering. So honestly, just on the basis of safety, this is something I think that they're more than deserving of. And then one note I wanted to make was, if you look at their working budget from this past year versus their proposed budget, there is a difference in the amount for their music. And similar to the investment club with their subscriptions, that's because music last year was able to be purchased on a sale. It's not looking like that's going to be the case this year, so that's why that amount is more than last year. And that is all.
Are there any questions about cheerleading?
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barrett Miller.
Yes.
14-0-0.
The 14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstention, motion passes.
Alright, moving on to rugby. At this time, I make the recommendation that rugby receive a club sport allocation of $11,652.
So moved.
Second.
Hold on. Allocate 3 minutes to discussion.
Okay, so first thing I do just want to point out, my recommendation of 11,652 is correct, and that is also the amount they requested. There was just an issue with the formula in the spreadsheet that the treasurer and I found out yesterday, but just out of formality, we always leave the original version of the budget up on Kodiak. Correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I believe the only error in that was when we were accounting for new members, it was 10, but in the formula it was entered as 5, so we just updated that to reflect your projected membership accordingly.
Right, there was also a reference to one of the bottom events where it referenced the difference, so.
Okay, yeah. So that is the correct amount that they are requesting and also the amount that I am recommending. One of the biggest differences that explains why this budget is more than last year is last year rugby charged $200 per student for dues, and this year they decided to cut that down to 20. I think that is a fantastic decision on their part. I think that's really going to help, A, lessen the burden on the club in terms of like the equipment and the tournaments that they can register in. But B, also, I think a lot of students wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable paying $200 for dues, so I think 20 is a lot more fair and in line with what typical club sports request. Additionally, similar to all of our other club sports, they did adhere to the policy by including their coach stipends, their different plans and events for fundraising. Something cool I thought about the budget was they are planning a recruitment event for next year. So kind of after the student involvement fair, once they get some people who are interested, just going out to dinner and being able to talk with the club and see like what rugby's all about, like if they'd be interested in joining the team and in what capacity. So I think hosting a recruitment event for that club is also going to be beneficial in addition to cutting the dues. And then lastly, a story that their treasurer shared with me. Obviously, typically year to year from club sports, there is money for various types of equipment. And I know you had shared with me that not everyone like has their own equipment that's all like sharing and borrowing, and you guys running around trying to find who has what. So I would like to ensure that everyone has all of their own stuff, so we don't end up in that situation anymore. And that is all I have for rugby.
Are there any questions about the budget? Which are a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown, Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yeah.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Godek, Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barrett Miller.
Yes.
14-0-0.
14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstentions. Motion passes. And just for all the senators to note, we will be going 5 minutes over, so everyone will be here until 1:55 today.
Next, moving on to Ultimate Frisbee. At this time, I make the recommendation that the Ultimate Frisbee Club receive a club sport allocation of $12,700.
So moved.
Second.
So 2 minutes of discussion.
All right, so just in the interest of time, to make this very quick, I know you all have this in front of you. Similar again to all of our club sports, they are collecting dues because they will be competing. They approved both last year and this coming year their plans for fundraising, also coach stipend. Something that's on this budget again is jerseys. The treasurer informed me that they've been having issues purchasing their jerseys, so the hope is to get those done this year. Also, there were just like a couple more tournaments that they were interested in attending. Obviously, like price for tournament registration every year, price for hotel every year, that stuff is naturally expected to rise year to year. So overall, it is a little bit more, but this is a very fair and similar ask to what they asked last year, as well as what other club sports request.
Are there any questions about this budget? Move to a roll call vote.
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpa,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Kaufman,
Yes.
and President Barrett Miller.
Yes.
14-0-0.
With 14 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstentions, motion passes.
All right, moving on to club volleyball. At this time, we make a recommendation that club volleyball receive a club sport allocation of $9,230.
So moved.
Second.
2 minutes, please.
Okay, so just quick point of clarification. Last fall, their initial allocation was only $2,730, but they did come back to Senate for a $5,436 additional allocation. So if you total those together and then account for what I'm about to say, it is again relatively fair and similar to what they requested last year in total, and then also what our other club sports have asked for. Similar to everyone else, keeping with our club sport policy, they are going to be requesting the dues because they will be competing. They also went over their fundraiser with me from last year, and then their plans for their fundraisers for this year also included a coach stipend, And then again, similar to other club sport issues, just basically purchasing new equipment so that way volleyball owns their own equipment and does not have to share with our varsity team, or our varsity team is coming to them for stuff. So basically both are separate and our club volleyball team can have everything that they need. And that also obviously accounts for the slight increase from last year to this year.
Are there any questions about this budget?
Senator Baker,
Yes.
Senator Bissonnette,
Yes.
Senator Bronson,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Cloutier,
Yes.
Senator Conlon,
Yes.
Senator Day,
Yes.
Senator Garcia,
Yes.
Senator Gilmartin,
Yes.
Senator Hastings,
Yes.
Senator Powers,
Yes.
Senator Scorpio,
Yes.
Senator Shaw,
Yes.
Vice President Cawthon,
Yes.
and President Grant Miller.
Yes.
14-0.
Votes 14, yes votes 0, no votes 0, abstention, motion passes. Now we're gonna move into the senior class council.
At this time, I make the recommendation that the 2025 council receive a class council allocation of $15,000.
So moved.
Second.
So typically in the past, or sorry, let me explain. Last year, when I started my first year as finance chair, we kind of tweaked the amount the senior and junior councils got, given that for their end of year events, we're kind of getting ready for their end of their collegiate journey, they're also doing more. So that's the same plan I have going into this, no changes to my recommendation for them, from last year. Also, typically our junior and senior councils especially always spend all of their budget, again, given the nature of the events that we're doing to kind of get ready for end of year and end of college stuff. There's typically nothing left from that allocation at the end. One note I do want to make, I know in the prior term, President Al Ward, we had talked about the senior refunding policy. That number will ultimately get figured out and everything once we have final enrollment in the fall. So just rest assured that that will be coming again once I have finalized enrollment numbers for the 2025 council. And only if you'd like to, I can open up the floor to our 2025 rep if you have anything that you'd like to share about plans for next year, anything like that.
No, I just have one comment, if you don't mind. On our budget, we do have right now a large number that has not been used. But however, like Chairperson Pearl indicated, we are planning to use every single cent of that on a deposit for a formal location. So what we have not spent will not go unspent.
I do also just want to add off of that, it is typical that at the end of junior year, the 2020, well, not the 2020 council, but like the junior council of that year saves money to do that. So it's not like this is just a one-time thing, like that is a traditional junior council expense.
Are there any other questions? Move to a roll call vote, please. Oh, voice vote, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. And in the interest of time, I move to adjourn today's meeting.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? And for the budget that we did not get to today, we're gonna be doing a budget meeting 2 weeks after finals. You'll get details about this later.
Thank you. Stand back up.
I'm gonna go stand in the freezer. Yes, I agree.
My shoes are falling apart at the moment. Shut up. Don't leave without me. We have to discuss.